One of the things that I feel is really important for leaders to do from within is to be able to ask their teams or their team members what they need from them. By doing that, it's a way for you to sharpen. It's a way for you to get look in the mirror a little bit. And those people in your lives, what do I need to do better? I'm going to get better as a result of that feedback.
Right. Hey, everybody. I'm Kelly.
What's up? This is Jay.
And we are here with our Level Up podcast, really hoping to help elevate you in your business and your lives. So Jay, I think we are here in Punta, and we've had some leadership meetings, and we've had a general session where we had leaders and all of those that we're celebrating here. And I'm really curious about just leading. I don't think it's one of these things where we would just arrive and we are a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a journey.
Right.
And I'd love to unpack how you lead your team and how you get everybody on the same page.
Well, I think I'm a systems guy, and that doesn't mean it's I do all these tech systems. It's more of setting up the structures so those things are in place, like team meetings and one-on-ones, and then having those be consistent. Mm-hmm. And, for the team, we're trying to always bring a nugget to our meetings. Yeah. So a nugget's a valuable piece of information that makes you better for life.
Yeah.
And, sharing that, a little bit of inspiration. And one of the things that I feel is really important for teams to be able to set up and leaders to do from within is to be able to have these direct conversations with either in a one-on-one or in a team meeting, but to be able to ask their teams or their team members what they need from them.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it's a way for you to sharpen. It's a way for you to get look in the mirror a little bit. Just like when you go, you want to make sure your makeup's right and your mascara is in the right place. I want to make sure my fly is zipped up before I go to the ball. Those are
whatever.
Those are the things that we do. And so your team is a reflection of yourself.
Sure.
And those people in your lives, what do I need to do better? And, just like in this podcast, if we talk next week and you're like, hey, Kelly, how can I do better? I'm going to get better as a result of that feedback.
Right.
And so being able to embrace that as positivity, feedback is a good thing. Yeah. And what I have found that when I am able to ask for feedback with consistency, it allows me able to deliver impact feedback that's heard a lot better. Mm-hmm. And that if they see that they have some influence, that I have some influence with them. And if it's all one-sided, you're doing this, get better here, da-da-da-da, I'm barking at you and you never have a chance to say, Jay, do this better, or I need this from you, or it's really frustrating to me when you do da-da-da-da-da, because I have a big bag of troubles and faults that I haul around, just like everybody else. And so it's really helpful in a team environment to be able to set people up, to be able to help me get better, and know that I'm interested in that feedback and I want to take it serious, and I can sit with that discomfort and understand at the same time that the benefit of that is that they're going to hear my feedback so much better.
Yeah. How do you handle when a team member says, nothing, everything's good?
Then
I don't need anything from you.
I think you have to know those relationships, because I have had some situations over the years with people where they've said nothing was wrong, and there was a few breadcrumbs under the rug, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, kaboom, and you're like, whoa. So obviously it helps when you have that relational equity, because you can kind of come back and say, hey, are you really good? Is there anything there? Is there anything we need to unpack? Is there any disappointments? Because remember that time?
Yeah. Or
if I think there's things, that can be triggering before the event that might be a trigger, I might go and say, hey, Kelly, remember 2 years ago we were at this thing? You got really frustrated.
Your fly was down?
Yeah. And I was walking around with whatever. But there's those issues that come up, and I can come back to you and you say, maybe that just brings awareness to you.
Yeah.
To be able to go, yeah, that was triggering. And I might get triggered again in this situation because of these circumstances. Sure. And it's kind of being mindful, right? No different than I have to do some mindfulness around dealing with reffing, coaching basketball. at the youth level and being with the refs. And if I go into it going, I know the refs are going to be terrible. There's going to be some awful calls. It's going to be really frustrating.
Right.
I handle their calls. But if I don't take a second, then I'm more reactive to the bad calls.
Yeah.
And that can be applicable to lots of things in our lives, but also as a leader, if you know things in your teammates and your team members that have triggers, reminding them to be prepared.
Yeah. I think you mentioned it earlier too. You mentioned doing one-on-ones, and sometimes people are more comfortable sharing in that one-on-one
Yep.
than they are in a group setting.
Yep.
And realize that everybody has their own communication style.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we reflect and we want them to communicate like we communicate, but that's just not human. That's not the human way, right? So really taking the time to learn each other, that it's a relationship. We're building relationships, and to be able to know this person, well enough to know, hey, they're not comfortable here, but let's tackle that in that one-on-one.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the rules too is always being able to kind of filter through situations in a productive way. And so having a roadmap of, if somebody comes to you that's frustrated about somebody else, say, hey, have you heard that from, have they heard this?
Yeah.
And sometimes they need some help in how to, as a leader, they need some help to how to go have that conversation. And that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as that doesn't make the problem bigger.
Yeah.
And so we have to be disciplined to not get into the weeds, but help them be able to have that go have that productive conversation. But I mean, it is a biblical, formula. If you have an issue with somebody, you go tell that individual.
Yeah.
If that conversation doesn't go well, then you go get your superior. You go get somebody that's going to help, a leader, a mentor, a team member that's going to be good. And it's 2 to 1. Because the way that I always look at it is, if you're frustrated, your processor, you're frustrated, the ops manager, that it should never be more than a 3 to 4 person problem.
Yeah.
Like you and the individual, you and their manager, you and their manager and me. Like that's the most a problem should ever be.
Yeah.
But the tendency in life is, I'm frustrated with you. I don't tell you about it. I tell TL. And then maybe I tell Gabby. And then TL tells somebody else. And Gabby tells somebody else.
Yeah.
And instead of having a small problem that you and I could have, squashed, the two of us, like as adults, as professionals, that would have made us better.
Yeah.
We created a huge problem. I did, because I started telling people.
And brought everybody into this problem. So now it's their problem.
Yes.
And it wasn't their problem.
Exactly. And it's a big distraction.
This is so important. So, Jay, I think, again, just as you're talking, part of me is just sitting here saying, gosh, how can I be better in conversation? And for me, I just try to listen more. I really do try to ask pivotal questions and then shut my mouth, because sometimes I like to talk. And I would just encourage you, if you're in that situation, and something has happened, or you're struggling with somebody on your team, just like ask questions and create a environment where it's okay to share.
Right.
And then just be quiet.
Yep. I think you want a team environment where people have the opportunity to share.
Yeah.
And we have to get good at saying, tell me more.
Yeah. And then take it.
Receive it.
Right? You just got to be able to take it in and not react in the moment, which is hard sometimes,
right.
Because we are human, and that defensive things does come up.
Right.
So just letting it set. And sometimes I'll just say, hey, you know what? I so appreciate you sharing. Can I just process this and circle back with you? Take the time if you need the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like we have to respond in the moment.
Right. Slowing it down actually speeds us up.
Yes.
Instead of reacting with frustration. So, well, this was a fun conversation. And thank you for making me better. Makes me want to be mindful and seek understanding. So thank you.
Bye, guys.